Hello and welcome to week 5 in biopsychology, where we're going to be talking about a relatively popular topic, and that's brain plasticity. And this, of course, relates to the developing brain as well. I mean, it's the same processes that result in the development of our brain in utero all the way through adulthood. Those are the same processes by which we talk about in brain plasticity. And it's essentially examining the features of how does the brain change. How does the actual physical structure and chemical interactions within the brain change as the result of experience? In a way, it's how the brain physically learns to be different, how it adapts to different situations. So the first discussion that we're going to be having, we're going to be looking at artsy brains, musical brains, artist brains, photographer brains, poetry brains, those kinds of things. What is it about those? And certainly the reciprocal interaction between being an artist and brain development. So what I mean by that, an individual may be gifted per se in a particular aspect of art. However, that structure that's already there may be further enhanced by them actually practicing their art. So a musician, for example, may have some inherent talent in terms of recognizing notes and harmony and melody and stuff like that, but that will become even more acute, and there'll be additional brain changes that occur if that person actually becomes a musician. So that will be our first discussion. Getting into that, we're going to be looking at two aspects of brain plasticity that are ongoing as we prune through our nervous system. The pruning process, meaning kind of like the use it or lose it sort of process of the brain, the patterns and pathways that we create within our brain get reinforced. However, when that happens, we have a sort of, think about it, the plasticity refers to a returning to its original shape. That's why plastic itself was such a revolutionary product, because you could have a bowl, let's say, that would be bent, but then it was plastic, so it returned to its original shape. That's what the word plastic implies. Think about it like a rubber band as well. You know, you stretch it out, but then it returns to its original size. One of the reasons why the brain, or two of the reasons that we're going to be examining here, that the brain has the ability after some sort of event to return to its original place, are because of collateral sprouting and disuse hypersensitivity. So you'll be looking at those particular functions of our brain in light of the fact that they help us to return back to normal function, let's say after a brain injury or something like that. Finally, in the chapter assignment, I'm asking you to do a mini research paper on the interaction between somebody being born deaf and brain development. Now, there are areas in the brain that are oriented toward hearing, understanding language, understanding music. What happens to those areas of the brain when it's not processing auditory information? I think the answers might surprise you. And certainly that wasn't really final. I was just kidding. There's actually another assignment. You have a lab due this week. And this lab is a choice between two of them. We're demonstrating actually going to experience a piece of that rubber band coming back. Not because of collateral sprouting or disuse hypersensitivity, but the brain starts to adapt to think in certain ways, and then we can then reverse that, and you'll experience it in one of these two experiments. Now, the reason I'm giving a choice with these, to tell you the truth, is the visual version of this particular experiment is a little wonky. If you're prone to becoming nauseous, I don't recommend doing that one. The screenshot that you have to be looking at for quite a long period of time to experience this particular thing can make you a little woozy. So I've created both an auditory and visual brain plasticity experiment or lab. You pick one of those. You can do both of them. knock yourself out. But I'm requiring that you at least do one of them and write your report. If you do both, write them all in the same report. That'd be awesome. You get again, some of you have been getting your family to do it. If you don't get queasy, but your partner, you know, if you get queasy and your partner doesn't, let them do the visual one and see what that's like. So you do that lab, and of course submit that as the lab report that I've given some feedback on. So kind of a big week to get all these things done. There's a discussion, there's a quiz, there's an assignment, and there's a lab, all having to do with brain development and brain plasticity. So I think this lab is going to be kind of fun. I've done them all myself. You know, as I was designing them, I was doing and conducting on them on myself, and that's why I know that the visual one made me a little woozy. I had to actually stop. I had a full stomach when I was doing it, and it was like, nah, I don't want to look at this anymore. So the auditory one might be better for a person like that. So I look forward to seeing these, look forward to seeing you in the discussions, and have a great week.